Well,
All right, there we go.
there you go. Yeah, you can see they can hear us talking. It's that. See the 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's cool. 20 seconds. I got you.
Why is it? All righty, righty. We are live. Coast football with Titus from the Dirty South Sports page, Facebook page. How you doing tonight, Titus? On this Sunday, we
Uh-oh. Think I might have had a glitch. Thank you, Matt. I'm doing good this evening. How about you?
good, good. And so that is your Facebook page that you post on, and that is Dirty South Sports page. And what does that page consist of, as far as so fans can go follow it?
Well, this page originally was Gulf Coast Pine Belt Sports page, but kind of a lengthy name. So one of our admins, one of our guys in the group, decided, hey man, we kind of need a facelift. We need to change who we are. So he came up with the name and came up with the imagery, and hey, we all put a vote on it and said, yeah, I like that, because we get, as they say, the dirty South. That's always been a slogan down here in South Mississippi. We get down and dirty here in the South when it comes to our high school football. So it had a good catch to it. So we went with it, and we changed it, and it's been a success so far. I think it's a catchy title because I kind of felt like Gulf Coast Pine Belt was too generic, but we're always looking for ways to improve and get better as a
Certainly,
page. And
certainly.
we primarily cover the Gulf. We do cover the Gulf Coast. We cover the Southwest. We cover the Southeast, and we cover the Pine Belt. We go as far north as Meridian. Um, we try to reach for Brandon and Northwest Rankin, but we just kind of felt like, that's a little. We go as far as Meridian. That's the furthest we go, and we got a lot of ground to cover. But I'm from a coast guy. I'm from the Gulf Coast. Never forget where I came from. Born and raised, Goshen, Mississippi. Go Gators, by the way. Um, so just because I live in the Hattiesburg area doesn't mean I forget where I come from. But I've just been blessed, Matt, to see a lot of good football on the Gulf Coast and the Pine Belt area. So we got a lot to look forward to. I'm excited about this show, doing it with you tonight, Matt, and I can't wait to see how your predictions in region and these rankings play out. And I want to give a special shout out to Chris Alford, who is admin for our page, for providing us these rankings. And he does a very good job, a very thorough job of player rankings, team rankings. Um, he does it all. So I want to give a shout out to him for doing this and making this all possible for me to have this information, and as well as our other ones. Shout out to Carlos Keaton for the name change, Andrew Tubbs, Tisha Harrington from Laurel, Jason Hosey, Ernest Williams, and James Russell from West Jones, and many others, and Marte from Gulfport. Just want to give a shout out to all of our crew, and if I miss a name, don't crucify me. The list goes on. So
Oh yes, it certainly it takes some people to run a page. So certainly glad to have you on, that we can collaborate with your page, like I said, in Dirty South Sports page. But we're going to jump into the region predictions. These region predictions will be posted on our Gulf Coast football page starting tomorrow for those who miss it here on the live or even on the replay. So we're going to go in and we're going to say it with our chest there, Titus,
oh
on
yeah,
who's
I'm
going to
ready.
win the region,
Oh
who's going to
yeah,
make the playoffs.
yeah,
And
yes
this
sir.
again, they still don't play the region games until 3 or 4 games into the season, and those are the games that count, like past
Oh
region games, and then go 4-1 in the region games, get a second seed, and then go into the playoffs, and they did lose the second round. But these non-region games get you set up for these region games coming up. But we're going to go ahead and predict, or I'm going to post what I predict, and you agree, disagree, and we're going to start with the 1A and go all the way up to the 7A class. So I'm going to bring up here on stage, and if you fans there are watching, please share. We certainly appreciate it. If you have questions, just put questions on there if you have any questions. We're going to start here with 1A, which just has one coast team, and this is the standings from last year. So you can see this is the district record where I guess you guys can see my cursor on the right side. The left side, you can see, in fact, this is a good example, Titus. Taylorsville, regular season.
Yes.
What was it? Oh, no, 9-5. I'm sorry. My glasses.
9-5. Followed
9-5.
Lumberton. 5-6. That looks like Shannon.
Yeah, Stringer 9-3.
Oh, Stringer 9.
Yeah, Richton, and then Resurrection.
Okay.
So that was the overall standing. You see on the right side, who won the region was Taylorsville. Second place was Stringer at 3-1, Lumberton 2-2, and Richton at 1-3. Resurrection was 0-4. They did not make the playoffs, and so we're going to see what they look like this year. The prediction, and I'm going to take this off, but that's how they finished up last year. And again, a 5-team region, 4 teams are going to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So, some people, it is what it is. If one team is not going to make it. So,
yeah. And so if I can provide my rankings this year with that, again, shout out to Chris. So at number 1, let me put it up here on my list. So overall, Simmons won the state championship last year. Obviously, they're number 1. Followed up with Calhoun City. 2, LaFleur County. Taylorsville is ranked 4. Biggersville, is a team up north, is ranked number 5. I'm going to butcher this name. Ninawaya at number 6.
Yes.
Boca Chica at 7, South Delta at 8, Stringer at 9, and Lumberton Falls at 10. Now, Lumberton is a team to watch for. Now, here's something that's very interesting that's on the surface. This is going to pertain to the Pine Belt area. Lumberton, there is talks. Now, again, this isn't official, but there have been talks of consolidating Lumberton and Purvis. So be on the lookout for that, because Purvis is a program that is on the come up in that classification. So be looking for that potentially to be official in the foreseeable future. Lumberton, Purvis are going to possibly combine and be one team. So that'll be very interesting.
Okay.
Lumberton always has some talent. They've always had, back in 2004, 2005 with the Terry Grants and, Rashad Henry. Shout out to him. Long live Rashad Henry, a.k.a. Rhodey. They've always had a talented group in that area for many, many years. But for some reason, since, things happen, they got lower and lower in classification. So now they're down to 1A. But look for them to probably be competitive this season under their head coach. So, but I think that's going to be something that I just wanted to point out, that there have been talks of the schools combining Lumberton and Purvis. Now, Purvis is 5A, so they could potentially probably be a new 6A team going into not this season. Now, it's not, again, it's not anything that's going to
correct
happen anytime soon. It's going to be, they got to vote on it, but I have been told from somebody that's close to the program that there is some possibilities that they could be combining.
Touch back on that Lumberton. It's funny, when I started high school football, calling high school football in 2005, my first state championship game I called in Jackson was Lumberton when they called it. And it was a Friday. It was 2 days because we didn't have 7 classes. So it was like a Friday at 12 o'clock. And me and Wayne went up there and we called the state championship game, and they won that game in 2005. So I had nothing to do with Lumberton itself. They said, hey, we want you guys to call our state championship game. They beat Simmons 28-0. So in that game, so it is kind of that you mentioned Lumberton. I'm going to bring on stage what my prediction is,
Okay.
and it kind of aligns with your rankings to where your highest team that you had ranked was Taylorsville, and I have them winning the region. Stringer, you had ninth ranked, and there I have them second. Now, where you're saying maybe a disagreement that Lumberton may pull up in that third spot. Again, 1 and 2 get a first round home bye game, so that does make first round playoff game. So it does make a difference here getting that first or second string seed. So Lumberton, you may put third, and Richmond may go fourth. Unfortunately, the coast team in Resurrection, which Coach Sisson is taking back over this year, he's the one who brought them to the 2015 state championship, which they did lose. I think they're going to struggle this year. Unfortunately, Resurrection, and they will not make the playoffs at this time, is what I'm predicting. So, what do you think about this prediction here with the rankings?
Um, yeah, I don't have any rebuttals on that. I think Taylorsville has always been a powerhouse when they used to have the keys at quarterback. They've always had talent, rich talent in the area. I think they're going to be a team to look out for. Now, be expected for Lumberton to be competitive this season. So I think you can probably bump Lumberton over Richton. I think Stringer is fine where they are. I would just flip flop Lumberton and Richton, but hey, like I said, it's just our you know, just our opinion. And the only thing
Yes.
I would change on that was Lumberton over Richton. Richton's losing some players. You know, they're losing. There's a lot of teams that there's a lot of interchangeable parts when it comes to being up here. There's a lot of kids that's moving to different schools. You got some kids going to Hattiesburg, some kids going to Petal, because Richmond and Petal are right there by each other. So you got some kids that are drifting over to Petal and Perry Central. So I just don't think Richmond's going to be as competitive as they once have been, but they're still they have the potential. But I'm looking at Lumberton to climb up this season and maybe
All
probably try to make
right.
some playoffs.
Grant was saying that I was,
Yeah, you
and I don't know if it's,
yeah, I see.
I don't know if it's, I just took out my earpieces to see if that's going to work or not. But I still, myself, I don't know if it's because I'm hearing it on your end or not. I don't know.
Let me see.
But we will move on and remove, and we'll go to the 3A class,
Okay.
which we have two teams in the 3A class. Let me bring that up. Last year's standings. Hill myself. Here in the 3A class, we have two teams in St. Patrick and St. Stanislaus. You see West Marion won the region at 4-0. Presbyterian Christian 3-1. Tylertown 2-2. St. Patrick defeated St. Stanislaus to win a playoff spot, their first time since 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So St. Stanislaus, again, in a 5-team region league, 4 teams make the playoffs, as in every region, no matter how many teams you have. That St. Patrick did make the playoffs. St. Stanislaus was on the outside looking in. This was last year's standings
Okay.
on there. So what are your thoughts on there? I'm fixing to bring up about last year's standings on this, Titus, to use while I bring up the predictions for this class.
Okay. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, Presbyterian PCS. Yeah, they're a team that's going to be dangerous. Their quarterback did commit to Wake Forest. I think he's going to be really, really special. Look for PCS to really jump on the other side of the South bracket. I really think in 3A, but it's going to be competitive because Seminary is a good program. Also, Riley is also a good program too as well, and I just feel like it's really going to be interesting to see how it shakes up in 3A. But my teams I'm looking out for is definitely PCS and definitely Seminary. So because with PCS and Seminary. I mean PC with Seminary and Collins. They redid the district lines, and more of the kids in Hopewell now go to Seminary. So Seminary has got part of Collins kids, and Collins got the kids further up north. So that's why you're all of a sudden seeing always Seminary and Riley battling it out for the greater half of the division when it comes. So
Yeah. Let me bring up my prediction for this 3A Region 8 class. And I do have West Marion winning the region. Tylertown, they're a strong contender, after last year. Presbyterian Christian remains one of the most consistent programs, after the season they had last year. St. Stanislaus, a couple weeks ago, I actually had St. Patrick again winning the game against St. Stanislaus to be in the playoff. They have that veteran quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, Statzel Mercer for St. Patrick. But if you've seen what I posted in the new news, the quarterback, Max is his first name, we call him Max, has transferred from Canada and now will be the starting quarterback for St. Stanislaus, which I feel will make the difference and will get them past St. Patrick to get back in the playoffs. That is St. Stanislaus. So I have him in the playoffs at fourth. And they could, win more than just the one game. Like I say, the one quarterback, he's great. He's won state titles in Canada. Will that equate to coming down here? I mean, he's 6'4", he has the size. And just check the timeline against where his name is Max. I don't know his last name off the top of my head, but he is going to be a factor enough to where I believe he's going to beat St. Patrick to get him in the playoffs and maybe win more than just the one game that they won last year, that is St. Stanislaus.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. West Marion, good team. Tylertown, they're pretty good. They're always competitive. Presbyterian, man, I got to put them with that quarterback they got, Mr. Stringer, man. He's a real deal. You don't find too many guys in Silk, Mississippi that's getting recruited by Wake Forest, man. So that's a pretty big deal. I think they're going to really, really make some noise, and they're on the come up. They definitely have some good talent. So if they can, now the only thing is if they can keep their players, because you have some players that are transferring to Oak Grove, transferring to Hattiesburg, transferring to Petal, to want to, I guess, get more exposure, to get more looks. But now that PCS is now in regular classifications, I think, the more of your talent is going to stay close by. So, and then St. Stanislaus, they were a program that heavily recruited back when I played ball. But for some reason, they just don't have, it's just not what they used to be. But I think that they're headed in the right direction. And St. Patrick's, like you said, see them making playoffs. So no disagreements on that. I agree with your predictions on that one. I like West Marion. It's in the Columbia area. They always have some talent there. So I'm right on par with you with that rankings.
All right. Yeah, the gentleman's name that I said, they call him Max, is Maxime, and his last name is Bernard. He is, like I say, he only has 1 year left, and he is from Montreal, Quebec. He's won a couple state championships up there, so I believe he'll be a factor for St. Stanislaus. And again, St. Patrick will play at St. Stanislaus. Or again, the winner will at least guarantee them in the playoffs. So we'll see how that goes. And St. Stanislaus, again, they've been in the playoffs the last 12 years. Just last year, they really struggled, and they struggled to put up 100 yards of offense in the game. They went 1-9, and they were able to beat Bay 20-14 in their lone win. So, I mean, but before that, 12 straight playoffs. Now, true, in fact, 22-23, they won a playoff game. So it's been a little while since they missed the playoffs. I think they'll be back in the playoffs. And hopefully that St. Patrick will somehow beat one of these other teams and make the playoffs. I certainly want Coast teams to win and make the playoffs. So certainly would like that to happen. there. So we will move on. Again, if you guys have any comments, questions, this
Yeah.
is the 2026 region predictions that we are going over here with Titus from Dirty South, the Facebook page. Make sure you give them a follow.
Yeah. Shout out to Chris. Thank you for watching. Dustin, Lamar, Brent. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for chiming in. Chris, I gave you a shout out earlier, man. Thank you for the rankings. We're gonna have to button up on my part and kind of get some of our regions on the other side and make it more interesting to see our rankings on the other side of the bracket. But this will do for now. This is just kind of like a idea of what our coach teams and with PCS being up here in our area, so he's kind of covering both ends. So thank you, Matt, for that. And no disagreements on that. I think that's gonna play out the way it's been predicted.
We're gonna move now to 4A. We're gonna go region 8. We're gonna go region 8 here, 4A. Let me expand the screen for those that can see. And again, a 5-team region with Pass Christian winning their first region title. Forest County AHS coming in second at 3-1. Greene County there in third at 2-2. And Moss Point was able to beat Bay, and they secured a playoff spot. And they went 1-3, and Bay didn't win a region game, didn't win a game all season. Excuse me, which they go 0-4, 0-9 on the season. So what do you think about those standings? As I'm going to try to find here the prediction.
Oh, okay. Let's see here.
From last year.
Yes, Pass Christian, Forest County, Greene County, Moss Point, Bay. So I think it's going to be the exact same, but I would actually have Moss Point ranked as the 3rd seed. So I would have Pass Christian, followed up with Forest County, then Moss Point. And I actually think Bay High is going to make that 4th spot. I think they take a leap this year. I really believe that they're going to move in the right direction with their program. So I think that they have a shot at actually being the 3rd seed, and Bay High coming out as the 4th seed.
All right, let me see. Well,
sorry, Greene County, you out. That receiver.
Somebody has to be out. But let me see if
that receiver that committed. I think he committed to Auburn. Matthews. I believe he committed to. Oh, come on, Matt.
Yeah.
You got Moss Point not making it. No.
Yeah. Unfortunately, have Moss Point not make it. Of course, Pass Christian, who had not won a region title at all, won last year, honestly. And then, yes, they should win the region this year. Not should, they will. Say it with the chest. They will win the region this year. Coach Stockstill, Paris Trivon, Tubb. I mean, they have a plethora of players there that they're going to win this region. It's a matter of getting to that South State and beyond. Forest County, they're, had a great season last year, and I believe with their depth and the program stability that they'll be back. Greene County, yes, they lost, those players, but I believe with the advantage will give them that narrow edge there. And Bay, Coach French, who spoke to us at media day, and I asked him, go back and watch the videos, I asked him clear cut, are you going to make the playoffs? And some coaches, deflect. They don't want to say, but no, he said it with his chest. Yes, we're going to win games because they actually have the longest losing streak heading into the season of all coast teams at 13. That they're going to win more than one game, and it starts with that week 1 against the team out of Alabama. We'll have that here. I already posted the schedule, but I believe Bay will win. Also, get Moss Point make the playoffs, most definitely. Coach Jenkins there with his players, I mean, they definitely can win the playoffs. And you're saying Greene County's out, so we'll have to tag this part of this clip.
Tag, get them of Moss Point.
Hey,
We're going to the
and
playoffs, baby. Y'all going?
hey, I hope
Y'all
that
going?
Moss Point wins it,
Yeah.
and is in it. I definitely do, but I believe like I say, I have to give it to Green because of where they're playing at per se. As far as Moss
Yeah.
Point, if not mistaken, is going to go to. If I could bring up the schedule here, we'll be going to Greene County.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference.
I think Coach Jenkins is going to have them in the right direction. I'm going to be talking with him on Wednesday about the directions of the program. I'm confident that he's going to get those guys amped up and prepared and ready. He's a very good head coach, and I can't take nothing away from what he's doing for the city of Moss Point. So shout out Coach Jenkins for everything that you do for Moss Point and the community, man. He's they're gonna buy into it, man. I'm telling you, I really think that they're gonna surprise a lot of people this year with the players
Yes,
they
he
got.
did. I had him on the live stream last year when he made the playoffs, his first year as head coach, and
Yep.
so that's something to build on the players there. We all know about Moss Point's history, 5 state championships. It's been a little bit 2001, if not mistaken, that they won their last state championship. It was 2000. I'm sorry, 2000 was the last state championship. But Greene County will be hosting Moss Point, so that's why I give the edge to Greene County. In fact, Greene County will be hosting Bay back-to-back games. So that's why I believe Greene County will be in the playoffs. And I hope I'm wrong again. I hope Moss Point will be in there.
Okay.
So,
Well, on
and
my
of course, Bay. I believe Bay will be there.
okay. So I'll give mine. I should have. I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, but since we're in 4A, I can give you the other side of the bracket in Region 7. I don't have it posted, but you could just kind of just know of it. So last year, Columbia, you had Columbia won Lawrence County. No, I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me make sure we get this right. So last year, you had Columbia, you had Poplarville 2, you had Macomb 3, and South Pike 4. This year, my predictions for Region 7, you're going to have, of course, Poplarville, because we already know they're loaded. Coach Jay Beach has got those guys motivated. They played Columbia for South State and, fell short. They're going to be hungry. I think Columbia, with Chip Builder back, they're going to be number 2. Macomb will be number 3. They got that receiver, Isaac Sheldon, who is a stud. Macomb has always got talent. And then South Pike, who's always feisty, who gave Columbia a lot of problems, is going to be your 4th seed. And then Lawrence County, sorry, bud, y'all out. Only 4 can make it. So I got Poplarville, Columbia, Macomb, and South Pike for Region 7 4A. Those are my predictions.
Macomb is that? Okay, I was reading. I'm glad you're talking there, filler time, because I'm trying to bring up. Actually, since Poplarville is in, from a coast, and they are in that, I did predict that region, and I'm fixing to see how close you and I, if I can, are. I think we're on about the same page because Poplarville is loaded there, and of course.
Speedy, they got Sam Lejeune, they got some studs, man.
They do.
I don't
and
think
Columbia.
Yeah. Now Chip Builderback told us that they
Yes.
have 4 really good solid running backs by committee this year, and their tight end room is really efficient. I think their defense is gonna take their defense some time to really get gelling because they lost 9 starters on defense. They only returned 2. So they're gonna have some growing pains, but I think their non-district schedule will really help them kind of gel together. And Chip Builderback is a championship head coach. You can never count him out. He's gonna put his best players on the field, and he's a great coach. So he's an elite coach. And when you saw the live, you saw it for yourself what it meant for him to win and how humble he was and how he's able to get the kids to buy out. He went into the details about, from white shirts to black shirts, they got to earn it. That was the thing. You got to earn it. Just because you won last year's success does not mean future success. And
correct.
So Don't
Correct.
sleep
Yes,
on
and those.
Columbia. I know everybody's buying the Poplarville hype. I'm on it too. Poplarville, Poplarville, Poplarville. But do not sleep on two teams. Do not sleep on Macomb. Do not sleep on Columbia. Because if you do, they can get you. Columbia's always going to have talent in that area. They always reload. Macomb is the same way. South Pike is a very scrappy fourth seed. They're going to be the fourth seed, but they're going to give that they could definitely knock off a coach team if past Christian or whoever doesn't come buttoned up for that first round matchup. So
Yes, they have a lot of returning, good solid returning. That is Macomb on there. So this here on the standings, and for those fans who are watching, if you want to watch the interview, like I say, I shared it on Gulf Coast page. You guys, you did the interview with Coach from Columbia Betterback. Is that what you?
yeah, Chip
That
Builder back.
so a Builderback. I'm sorry. So those who want to watch it, certainly a great interview. This is the standings, Titus from last year. Of course, Columbia, the only team in the state to go perfect and won the state championship. They did lose the defensive coordinator, and we'll get to him at Harrison Central. He's now there, Portbury. But Columbia did go 4-0. Macomb took second, so that meant Poplarville had to go on the road, and that's where they ended up losing. As you can see up here, they lost 20-14. That is Poplarville at Columbia, and then South Pike was 1-3, and Lawrence County was 0-3. I'm sorry, 0-4 in the region. So you said for profit, you said that Poplar, my
You,
prediction,
who?
win Columbia. You said second.
Yeah, Columbia is going to be the 2 seed.
Okay.
Macomb 3. I'm really looking to see how that receiver Sheldon Isaac is gonna turn
Sheldon
out for
Isaac
them.
from Macomb.
He's
Okay, we always
he's a
like to shine the light.
yeah, he's a really good player from Macomb. They've always been competitive, and then South Pike, they really gave. I
And
think
then
they was a team. If you look on their schedule, they really gave Columbia some fits. Chip, coach Builderback did touch up on that. They're always a scrappy team, so be looking for South Pike to make some noise too.
okay. Well, here we go. What are we looking at?
There it is. Boom.
So we kind of thinking along the same lines where Poplarville is just, man, they just so strong with the returners, with the players there. Columbia again, they easily can win it. Yes, they easily can win, go back to back and beat Poplarville. They will be going to Poplarville this year as they were at Columbia last year, and they did beat them in the regular season 49-28. That is, Columbia beat Poplarville, and then they beat them in that South State 20-14.
20 to
That was
14.
Columbia. So
Man, you talk about a heartbreaker for Poplarville, for Hornet Nation, man. They really wanted it, man, but we got they got Speedy, who's completely healthy, man. So they have that one nasty 1-2 punch. So they're definitely gonna be wanting some get back. I'm pretty sure they're gonna have Columbia scheduled on there. They got Columbia highlighted on their schedule. If I asked JB, if I were to talk to him, what game are you looking forward to most? He would probably say we're looking for that first game against West Harrison. But I know in the back of his mind, we want Columbia. That's some get back. So I'm really looking forward to that matchup.
yes,
So,
yes, and they ran out of Ty, was out there, and I don't want to say he ran out of steam, but I watched the end of that game, and he
yeah,
just, I mean, they're not a passing team, and they needed to pass. And
yeah,
Ty almost broke it, but almost
yeah.
isn't good enough. And they
Yeah,
ended up.
and the thing with Columbia, man, they had a three-headed monster in Ashton Daniels, Trey Lewis, and Peters, man. The quarterback was an athlete. Running backs was that, and they had a receiver. Think of the kid's name, but they had a really a three-headed monster to two-headed monster. We know the other young man who's the running back who filled in for Speedy was can't think of his name. You know his name, Matt, off the top of my head. I have to look him up, but he was pretty solid. He filled in the roles behind Ty Keys and did a good job. But when you lose one of your top other running backs who complements Ty Keys, that's a blow to your offense. And now that he's healthy, I think they're going to be a well-oiled machine. So I'm looking for Poplarville to really make a statement and challenge
Yes.
Columbia when that time comes. Now, again, if we were to go South State prediction, man, you might want to flip this. I think we're gonna get two coach teams, Matt, from
I said that.
past
I said I
Christian and
was looking at.
Poplarville.
That's what I said in my live. Like when you were watching me, people were saying, well, they have to get past Columbia. But yes, I think that would be a game. It wouldn't be maybe a Hornet Bowl one, but
Yeah.
it would be something for Pass Christian and Poplarville in the South State. I know we're here just in August and it's still got a little bit to go, but it's realistic that they could be, certainly can be meet
Yep.
together.
So y'all heard. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. It's gonna be Pass Christian and Poplarville for South State. Pass Christian is gonna get over that hump, and they're gonna finally get to South State, and we're gonna see a passing team against a running team, and we're gonna see some really good football.
Yes, I do agree with you there. So we look
And
forward to that.
Raheem Naquin, thank you, Lamar. I appreciate it, brother. Raheem Naquin, who filled in for Ty Keys whenever Speedy went down, he really did a really good job. He's a really good player, really good, solid running back, and he really did really good. I was impressed because
Yes.
run after run, heavy run. Ty Keys would come out for a spell or two, and then he would not stop. So.
Yep, it will be interesting, like I said, to watch Poplarville and Pass and see if they'll meet up. But we'll move on here to 5A, Region 4. And we'll bring up the standings to, let me see, is this the right one? And it is not the right one. Let me see. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's the one with Stone. I was looking to say Stone won the region, but they have them on the bottom because of the region record.
Yeah, 0-0.
And then Northeast Jones, and then East Central Bankley, the two other coast teams did not make the playoffs. So what are your feelings heading into this year, Titus, where I bring up my predictions on, is Stone going to repeat? Who's going to step it up?
Man,
Wayne County has
it's
their
gonna
new
be
head
hard
coach.
Yes, Wayne County, Tracy Lampley, who was Ocean Springs OC. He's from the area, and I've heard there's a lot of buzz at Wayne County, and the community is rallying behind him. So be looking for Wayne County to kind of give Stone County a run for their money. I'm really looking for them to make some noise. Matter of fact, my surprise this last year was Wayne County was not as competitive, and I mean they had a freshman, sophomore, junior class that almost beat Gaucher the year before last, if you can remember. Bebe,
Yes.
who was a running back, he was just a junior for Wayne County, and they went for that 2-point conversion, and they missed it, by a few yards. And Gosha was very fortunate to come out of that game, to take that game away. And I said this team is going to be a problem next year, but unfortunately it didn't go as according to plan, and Stone ended up winning that division. But look for Wayne County to be competitive under Tracy Lampley in that program. I look for Stone to be competitive. Purvis is going to be another team that's on the come up. They look really good in the spring game against Picayune. I know they had drills and going back and forth, but they have a really talented quarterback, a good wide receiver. So look for Purvis to make some noise on their side of the bracket. Yeah, I think it's Stones for the grabbing. I really think Stone County is going to be the team to beat in the region. They got a lot of talent. They have a good running back, great head coach. So I feel like they're more than likely going to win their district again.
And Coach Aycock, who was there, did ask me, say, well, when was the last time that Stone won back-to-back? And you can see regions, and you can see right here, it was 93-94 was when they won back-to-back. So you can see all this empty spot and then they won last year. So he did say we didn't want to be one of those teams that won it this year and then 4 or 5 years down the road we won it again. So he is favorite, and of course they have their new stadium that they're opening up
Yes.
on that
Yes.
Friday, August 28th against Hancock.
Yes.
So it will be, very exciting. Obviously, a brand new stadium. You want to win, but Hancock coach wants to come in there and spoil the party for the Tomcats.
They do. They
that first night.
They do.
So, but the region predictions what I have right here is Stone winning, and Purvis, was right there. Again, you have to replace, Lawyer, who you had mentioned. Paxton Cooper returns for Purvis. The Russian production, Slade Thomas, Parker Yawn, Jake Clinton. I mean, they make some contributions there. That is Purvis, of course, Wayne County. What we mentioned with their new head coach, that was with Ocean Springs Lampley. He played at Wayne County for high school years. So will they have enough there to make it? So who's going to be the fourth team in? Who I have East Central being that fourth. Again, East Central Van Cleve didn't make the playoffs last year. It was Northeast Jones making the playoffs last year. So, to have East Central in there, they're going to be more of a passing team, believe it or not.
Yeah.
With Cash Litton.
Yeah.
Will be there throwing the ball. And so I believe East Central will get in there as a fourth seed. Northeast Jones, still has their, they lose large part of their defense production. That is the Northeast Jones and Tevin Johnson, Darian Duff, Brandon Barhead, excuse me. So, I mean, there's other people that they had losses. Everybody does lose. So what do you think as far as, you said Stone was going to win, but who's going to get that fourth, the last playoff spot, Titus?
I think I agree with you. I think Northeast lost some talent. East Central with the quarterback is really good. I think with them passing it, which is definitely different from what East Central that we know. They likes a run heavy team. You have a quarterback that could spin it, that could run. So yeah, I would put Wayne County ahead of Purvis just because of who their coach is and the amount of talent that they got returning for that class. That sophomore group now, there's now seniors who was not successful is going to be there returning. So I really think that they're going to be able to turn that around and be very competitive. I think so. I will flip flop Purvis and Wayne County, and I think East Central is in. I think Northeast and Van Cleve are out. So I have them. So that would be the only thing I would change is Wayne County and Purvis. I really think Wayne County is going to make some noise this year. And that'll be very exciting to see how that plays out.
We'll clip this part here. They say on this app that if you say the word clip it, that it'll mark it. So I'm saying the word clip it because Titus is saying what's going to happen. Van Cleve, hey, they say Van Cleve, what about us? Well, they did lose their, Capers. 22 touchdowns, over 1,400 yards. I mean, they've lost quite a few people, but they do return linebacker Des Chapman, the quarterback Reese Thompson, who I just highlighted on a star card, and several other young contributors. I just don't know if they're going to have enough to get in that seed. Again, this is a 16, as you can see, 16 region, and we just went over 5-team regions. You have to be better than two other teams, so a little bit less margin of losses there. So, I mean, can Van Cleve make it? Again, yes, Van Cleve certainly can make it to the playoffs.
This is just our This is just our predictions. We know fans are going to be like, what about us? What about, man? Hey, we just got to go with stats, and stats don't lie. So
yes, and the only thing I don't like with Van Cleve is there are 5 region games. 3 of them are on the road. Again, not saying they're not a good road team, but 3 on the road. And then the go back to East Central saying they're going to be more of a throwing team. I just put out the stats of what the teams did last year, all 25 teams. East Central last year averaged about 12 passes a game. So they're going to have to kick it up a notch there. And, of course, running the ball, they ran it 116 times throughout the season. So again, there'll be more. They say of a rushing game this
Okay.
year. I mean, passing game. Excuse me, passing game. They got too
Yeah,
many
and if I
papers in front of
may
me.
give you my region three predictions on the other side of the
Yes.
bracket for South. So we got, I'm gonna just no particular order. We got Brookhaven. I think Brookhaven's gonna win the division again. I'm about to throw out a crazy stat for coach football here in just a minute, but I got Brookhaven 1, Laurel 2, South Jones 3, and Natchez will round out at 4. So I have
Uh,
Summerall missing the playoffs, unfortunately, but Coach Drew is putting a good team together, but experience matters. And so I think South Jones and Natchez are going to snatch up that 3-4 seed. Brookhaven is returning a very talented quarterback in Jaden Allen, who's Offensive Player of the Year for state championship. Um, he is a bona fide baller. He is a great kid. They have a receiver, Jeremiah Bibbs, who's going to be good for him. Matt, when I throw out this stat, you might want to clip this one. This running back, Jordan Keys, not related to Ty Keys, is right in the running for running back most rushing yards in Mississippi. This man had since played ball since he was in 8th grade, and he has 6,202 rushing yards and 81 touchdowns. He's a transfer. Yes, he played in Lloyd Star. I believe they're 1A, but he has been productive since 8th grade. He had over 2,200 rushing yards every year except for his 8th grade year, 8th and 9th grade year. Sophomore, yes, yeah, 9th grade, sophomore, junior, and sophomore, I'm sorry, freshman, sophomore, and junior year. He had an average of 2,200 yards per year. That's crazy. And you
Man,
add him to
2,200 yards.
that, yes, Mr. Jordan Keys, he was a transfer from Lloyd Star, transferred last year to Brookhaven. He, they're going to be a problem.
Man,
So
that is.
they
And then
have,
Lawrence, yeah, we got to clip that. So,
yes. So they also have their defensive guys coming back: Hampton Smith, Derwin Fields at defensive end, Tanner Hardy at corner. They got a young man that's coming up by the name of Samaj. Is going to be at corner. So Brookhaven, despite they lost a couple of defensive players, they lost E.J. Ratcliffe to Colin, Jeremy Bibbs to Colin, Tobias. They lost him to as well, but they got a couple pieces coming back from that Brookhaven team, and we can't forget about Laurel. Laurel is going to be another team that coach Matt. There are 8 receivers deep.
man,
Adrian McCormick, who's a 6'5" receiver. Bryson Bivens, a quarterback. Caden White. They are talented on offense, and they just hired Wes Jones, offensive head coach. He's their OC. He's a wonderful quarterback coach under Ryan Ernest. So Laurel is looking for. I would not be shocked if Laurel would win that division. They give Brookhaven some fits. Now the only thing is that Laurel has to travel to Brookhaven. So, and it's hard to win at Brookhaven. Van Cleve's tried it. A lot of teams tried it. They're unsuccessful. It's just something about playing in Brookhaven that really, really gets a lot of teams from the coast, and they're competitive. So, be looking for Laurel to probably give Brookhaven some fits. So, but yeah, that's how I rounded out with South Jones with their running back, Mr. Jackson. They always have a good group of talent under Coach Casey Harrington, and then give me Natchez at the 4th seed. They're a scrappy playoff team. They always make the postseason, and they always have a tendency to give the number 1 team fits. They did it 2 years ago with Gaucher. That won a game 36-30.
yes,
So,
man. Yes, I certainly appreciate that information on that region there. We shall see how, like I said, it plays in that great running back on Laurel between the bricks. I mean, with that wide receiver core there, they're going to be trouble. Gave Gaucher, like I said, trouble there for a couple of seasons.
yeah,
So
I want to
we're
go back
going.
between the bricks.
I know. I've been up there
You don't want
I've been up there a couple times for a game of the week back in the day. So yes, it's a unique place, very unique place. So
Oh yeah.
we'll move to 6A Region 3, where we have just one team from the coast, and we're going to bring up the standings from last year, and it's going to be, you see, Hattiesburg, who really dominated this region the last few years, and West Jones was in second at 4-1, Terry 3-2, and then three teams at 1-4 in region play. That is Hill, Forest, uh, Hill, and George County. Well, George County won the tiebreaker, and they did go into the playoffs, and they had a trip to Picayune in the first round and lost 55-7. Coach Causey, second season there at George County. He's been a head coach over the years, about 18, 20 years, but his second year there at George County. So before I bring up what I'm predicting, who do you think? I know you just interviewed, I shared it. You interviewed the Hattiesburg head coach. And so who do you think is going to win this region coming up here?
All right, so we know Hattiesburg is gonna win it. I don't see any now. Again, I got Hattiesburg 1, West Jones 2. I got George County. I got Terry 3 and George County 4. Kind of about like last year. Hattiesburg is they're returning 8 starters on that South State defense, led by Antonio Allen, aka Tay Tay, and Bryson Keys, 2 of the top defensive linemen in the country. Every school, LSU, Ole Miss, Clemson, Ohio State, all want to recruit these 2 kids. And Matt Tay Tay is just a junior. He's only a junior.
Man,
And Bryson
that
Keys
is
a
it.
senior. Tay Tay is only a
Yes.
junior, and he's got every Power 5 offer in the country. They also got Trey McQueen from Brandon, who is a 3-star safety. They got a stud defensive back in Jalen Andrews, who's a stud. He's 6'1", 180, 195 corner. They have quarterback Gavin Ducksworth, who is a stud at quarterback. Threw for over 2,200 yards last year in the air, and they have a good running back in Hayden Leverett. The only thing that might get them is their offensive line. They are having a new offensive line on their unit, so their defense is going to have to carry them for maybe part of the non-district. But once they get in district play, I think their offensive line is going to be well gelled together. West Jones is another team with Tootie Lindsay entering his senior year. He started since he was a freshman. They have a very good receiver in Chandler, who's really good. And they got their old coach back, Mr. Pearson back. So he's gonna be able to turn that program around. They got some really good pieces on offense that I like. Defensively, I think they're probably gonna have some growing pains in non-district play. But again, just like Laurel, they have a I wouldn't say not as tough as a non-district schedule, but they play Laurel. They play a very good team. So I think they're going to be the team to be the 2 seed. Terry is always kind of that team to always get that 3rd seed to kind of give you some fits. And then we know George County rounds out with 4. They've been kind of in a slump, but I think that they're going to be a little bit more competitive this year, the direction they're going. So, but yeah, that is my prediction, and I'm in agreement with you.
Yes, George County.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah,
Y'all
the Hills.
basketball
They won't.
So sorry about that team. Y'all out. So I think it'll be
Yeah.
like last year.
Coach Causey said they're actually, they're getting back to a little bit more of the run game. Of course, with Deuce that was there tonight, of course you're going to throw the ball. So they went back more to running game last year. You had Gaucher, the running back, over 1,000-yard running back. He's gone. But he said they're going to do a mixture of a hybrid. Not a lot of passing. They're going to do a little bit more passing than last year, but not as much. In fact, now that as a stat man, that has me curious on how many times year, which I did this stat. Where's George County? They were rushed it 455 times last year. That was the fourth on the coast most rushing there, and then passing the ball. George County, where they're at, they are about 11 times a game, but I believe they're going to be more 20 times passing yards for George County. So,
Yeah, and the receivers for West Jones off the tip of my tongue, Chandler Watson and Colin Senegal. They're going to be really productive for West Jones. Tootie Lindsay is a dual threat quarterback. He likes to run it. He can he can throw when it calls for it. So I think they're going to be really good offensively with their two stud receivers. But again, only question mark is the defense. But I think Scott Pearson is going to do a good job with the defense. He's a defensive-minded coach, and he knows how to put good pieces together. West Jones has always been known for the defense. So be looking for West Jones to maybe give Hattiesburg some problems, but overall, Hattiesburg is pretty much the team to beat. They're loaded. They're just they're just loaded. Not
yeah,
too many
and they've
teams
been
gonna score a lot
there
of
the
points on that
past 2 years
defense. Yeah, and like I
in
said,
the
they
state
return 8 starters
championship.
on that defense, and that defense is young. And then you add a Trey McQueen, a safety, who I didn't know if you saw this, Matt. I didn't know if you saw the highlight, but he when they played Ocean Springs, he had that pick six that was called back and had the Ocean Springs shimmy on and was just flashing in front of the fans. That is a player that they got coming over to play safety for Hattiesburg. So
Hey,
that's gonna be
yeah,
very
that'll be
interesting.
good. Pretty good there. So we're gonna move on to the Region Four. So hopefully, yes, our predictions have George County back in the playoffs. Hopefully, they'll be able to get a win in there for Coach Causey. So we move into 6A Region Four, which we're going to bring up. Or I'm going to bring up the standings from last year, and it's been dominated for 5 straight seasons now. Picayune has won the region. The record for most region titles in a row is held by Stone. It's 6, so they can tie that record. But you can see here, Picayune at 4-1, Pascagoula 4-1, Hancock 3-2, who went on the road that last year to beat West Week, and
I
then
think
you
I
have
lost you.
Pearl River Central. They're at 3-2, and Gaucher a couple tough losses. The one where they were going to score at PRC in the end zone, they fumbled it, and then Superman Case and Canaan with Hancock at home and Gaucher late won that game. I think they had a chance at a field goal. They missed a field goal, the Gators. And then they lost to Picayune the last week of the regular season, I believe, by less than a touchdown. So at least it was very disappointing there for Gaucher. They did lose 5-31 at go at home against Picayune. So anyway, so who do you have winning this region and making the playoffs?
You might want to clip this disclaimer. Gaucher is gonna win district. They're gonna get over that 15-year hump, and they're gonna beat Picayune at Lee Triplett Stadium October 30th.
So Gaucher's going to win the region?
Gaucher is gonna win the region. They're gonna beat
Yeah,
Picayune.
we got to clip that.
Let me see. Do they play the 23rd? I think it's the 23rd. I might have butchered that. Let me see.
No, I have it right here. Who you got? The October Halloween is going to be at Picayune.
Yep. So yeah, Gaucher is gonna beat Picayune at Lee Triplett Stadium October 30th. They're gonna win the district. They got 8 returning on defense. They have the most players returning in the region, with the best quarterback, in my opinion, in the region, in the whole region, in Keon McNeil. For the first time in a while, I know Gaucher has always been known to have the air raid, but we have a running back that can rush over 1,000 yards. You can't just defend Gaucher by just trying to defend in the pass. You got to account for Latrell Pogue, who I think is going to have a breakout year. They got 2 of the top receivers on the coast, and Sean Tubbs, who's a Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College commit, on one side, and then you got DJ Garrett on the other side, and then you have Kanan Booker, who's another good receiver. We lost Case and Thomas. our utility player. He could be running back and receiver, but we have, I believe we have two really other good receivers as well, in Michael Boggs and Kanan Booker. But Sean Tubbs, in my opinion, is unguardable. And then you have to account for Latrell, then you have to account for DJ on the other side. It's just going to be too overwhelming. Sean Tubbs is going to demand a double team. You're not going to be able to tackle him in open space. He's hard to bring down. If you've seen him when he played against Hancock, you're not bringing nobody's bringing this young man down one-on-one. It takes two. Their defense is going to be pretty good, led by their defensive line, and Beasley and Malik Ward on the other side, Walmsley. They're just really, really talented, and this team is hungry because they know what it's like to go to state, and they know what it's like to play on the big stage. So I think this senior class is really going to put on for the Coast. Yes, Picayune is talented, but their defense is questionable. They've lost Nolan Wilson and Big Mitch, who I call them those two big lumberjacks who really control the pace on defense. You don't have that anymore. So who do you have on the defensive side of the ball that you could plug in when it's time to make a play? Because when it's time to make a play, who are the two guys that made a play against Gaucher last year when the game was on the line, and they put both of those on the defensive interior, and they made a play, and they got to the quarterback and disrupted the flow? You don't have that. Now, you do have where is that going to come from? Hancock, we know, is going to be pretty good, but, Cason accounted for a lot of their touchdowns. Pascagoula graduated 18 seniors last year. So what are they going to look like? So Gaucher by committee should win the district, followed up with Picayune, then Pascagoula, and then to round out that fourth spot. No. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You cannot forget about, give me Gaucher, give me Picayune, give me PRC, and give me Pascagoula. So you got Gaucher, Picayune, PRC, Pascagoula. Now, PRC, Coach John Feaster, and what he's doing with that program, with Titus Feaster, with Kendall, they've got some pieces coming back.
Oh yeah, most definitely. They, but you're going to say Gaucher at 3-17 is going to jump up and win the region and take over from Picayune and PRC. I mean, it could happen, Titus. It's not.
I know people are trolling. They're gonna troll. They're gonna clip this. They're gonna show this to Coach Stogner. But hey, I'm standing 10 toes down. I know Bingo will be proud right now for me to be champion for them Gators, but I'm telling you.
Keon, the quarterback, he did a great job last year.
He was just a freshman.
And that's what I'm saying. He's just a freshman. So that I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's not. I will say it. This is my predictions here. It's not going to be done this year. They're going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to take out the Maroon Tide. They lose players every year, and I'm inches, not inches away, but close. PRC went into Picayune. Coach Feaster, he has the guts, the gratitude, unity, toughness, and strength that he wears on his shoulder, that they went in there and beat Picayune in Regent Street. That was, the record is 33 by Stone. That stopped that record there. But for Picayune, you don't think that they're looking at now going to PRC and is going to take out PRC. And I believe those two will be fighting in after the region title. Gaucher, their schedule has 3 of the 5 games in the region are on the road. I mean, yes, you're at Long Beach, you're at Hancock, you're at Picayune, and then I agree with you with Pascagoula. They lost a lot of players. You have Coach Green there, the defensive coordinator from Gulfport, now the head coach. You have, a good core there. I do still think, that Gaucher, where do they play that game at? Gaucher, they play at Gaucher. So
that's why
Gaucher may jump Pascagoula in that third spot. Hancock with Wedgeworth replacing Casey Cannon. Yes, it's going to be a tough task. Can Wedgeworth do it, the quarterback? With Coach King, certainly they can make it in the playoffs. Long Beach is just looking to get their traction and get wins and to win a region game. They have the longest streak right now of not winning a region game. So I couldn't necessarily agree with you that say Gaucher is going to take out Picayune. But hey, if it does, I'll give you credit for it. I certainly will. Could it happen? I say about 25% chance that Gaucher is going to win the region. Will they make the playoffs? As I predicted, they will make the playoffs this year, Gaucher.
I can see that, but I just cannot rank Pascagoula over Gaucher because they lost so many talented players with Jared Logan.
They did.
With Tylen Wilson, with Tamario Johnson, and they Darius Carter. They lost some significant, the running back Jackson.
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson gone as your running back. Now you do return Jason Glaude and Sean Norville. I'll give you that. They still have Jonathan Shelby back there anchoring the defense. But they're kind of going to be in like a rebuild. So it's going to take them, and I think the non-district schedule is going to help benefit them. But I just can't see a scenario where Gaucher, after how they embarrassed Gaucher last year, come back into Von Wallace Stadium at Gaucher on senior night and do what they did last year. I just do not. The only way this holds is if somebody gets hurt. Somebody's got to get hurt. Like if somebody gets
hurt. We're not counting. Hopefully everybody stays healthy, but things can change in an instant, especially with these quarterbacks that are a throwing team. Could change in an instant there. And in fact, Gaucher, was it not just a couple years ago that their quarterback went out like the first game? And
Trey Irvin, he got hurt the first game against Gulfport, but he bounced back in a nice way.
All right. So now Pascagoula has, can coaches win games? I believe coaches do affect a certain amount of games, and they have a great coaching staff. Not again saying these other coach teams don't, but Pascagoula has a great coaching staff. Yeah. And can they win that game? Again, they did beat Gaucher last year. I know what you're talking about, 49-12, and believe me, the Gators are not happy with that. That's been the hottest rivalry.
That loss to Picayune really, really messed them up, and I think mentally, Gaucher were just ready to they knew they missed the playoffs, and I think they were just ready to just mail it in and just get ready for next season. I just personally think that they just didn't try, but I think they got a lot to play for this year, but we shall see.
Correct. Let me and Robert Thomas there was saying Pascagoula also has Kevin Marshall back.
Yes.
I don't know exactly.
They got Kevin Marshall. He's going to play, I believe, receiver. Yes, I forgot about the transfer from St. Martin. Yes.
All right.
He's going to be really nice for the Panthers.
Oh, he is a transfer from St. Martin?
Transfer from St. Martin.
Okay. There's a lot of players that transferred. Actually it's more known this year than I've ever seen, where people actually make a graphic saying, hey, we're transferring from team A to team B. So it's it happens. It definitely happens. So but it'll be interesting. It gets closer.
Gaucher at 4.
And see if Gaucher can come through and dethrone Picayune. So
they got the talent
we still see
to do it. We're gonna end that 15-year losing streak. I got family from Picayune, so I'm riding on this one this year. I really think this is our best chance to get them.
Oh yeah, I agree with all the players that you mentioned with Tubb, the quarterback. You had the players there. It's there. So I think again they make the playoff when they win the region. I don't believe they'll win the region.
Something have to happen for them to miss the playoff. They have to be an apocalypse. An apocalyptic scenario would have to happen in order for them to miss the playoffs this time.
Then it goes as I'm looking for my 7A as we're fixing to head into our last class. But again, we're talking region titles, region games, and it just the gelling of the teams, how in these non-region games you kind of get a feel, for like say a Wedgeworth at Hancock, he didn't get a lot of playing time last year. Well, he pick up the thing from there. So it's just a matter of how the teams gel in these non-region games. which again, it's just 3 weeks away, less than 3 weeks away. Let me see. We're going to move into 7A, the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
let me bring up, I'm looking for, there's the 7A as I'm looking for my predictions. But last year, of course, Gulfport won the region. They beat Ocean Springs, stopped their 25-game region win streak. Ocean Springs finished there at second, 5-1. D'Iberville 4-2. Their two losses came to Ocean Springs and Gulfport, and then Biloxi took West Harrison to overtime to grab that last spot at 2-4. St. Martin 2-4, and West Harrison just right there, first time, was looking at making the playoffs for the first time under Quincy Patrick, the Hurricanes, who just moved up to 7A class. And then Harris Central struggling the past couple of years. You see they went 1-9 overall, didn't win a region game. Now you have Coach Fortenberry from Columbia, the defensive coordinator that won the state championship with Columbia last year, the only unbeaten team in the state. And that's how the standings looked last year. So what are your thoughts about last year, and what are you looking at this year?
Well, this year, I think it's going to continue to be this. Well, no, it's not going to be the same. I got Gulfport number 1. Biloxi. You heard it. Biloxi is going to be your 2 seed. D'Iberville is going to be 3rd, and Ocean Springs will round out your 4th.
All right, let me write that down again. I need to say Gulfport, Biloxi,
D'Iberville, and Ocean Springs.
Ocean Springs. Okay. Of course, I'll leave St. Martin.
There's really no debate on Gulfport. They have they got the receivers, Seneca Taylor, Hank, Javis Hall's coming back. They got Amaji Frederick coming back. That defense under
Pork Chop.
Yep. And they got Johnson from D'Iberville, who's a really good corner safety for D'Iberville, who's at Gulfport. And I want to say they got another player. I think one of our group members had mentioned, I got to get the kid's name, but he's another transfer in. So Gulfport is they only had to really, in my opinion, replace Peters on defense, who was a middle linebacker, and of course Coop and Parker Nettles, and they've already got those guys replacements. So it's just kind of just plug and play now. So I think Gulfport's going to be a region winner again, led by Biloxi, who they got a transfer from Ocean Springs, Ian Harlan, and Jordan Ramsey, who's a quarterback. I think they're going to be really good. I think they take the next step and be a 2 seed, follow up with D'Iberville with Coach Ladner. They're always going to be scrappy and feisty. Now, again, D'Iberville and Biloxi could flip-flop. D'Iberville could potentially get to that 2 spot, but can they get over the hump and beat Ocean Springs? Ocean Springs has been D'Iberville's kryptonite. So can D'Iberville get over the hump and make some noise? Wiley's a good quarterback. They have a really good offense. They have a good. They lost a couple of linemen. Estrada, he's gone on to play college ball. So, what is that defensive line going to look like? What is that linebacker core going to look like? I know Coach Ladner said their secondary is going to be really good. We're going to find out week 2 when they play Gaucher. That'll be the measuring stick because Gaucher likes to air it out. We're going to find out very quickly in week 2 how good is D'Iberville's secondary against the Gaucher air raid. So I think Biloxi, D'Iberville can be interchangeable. 2 or 3, they're like neck and neck, just depending on who wins that game and who beats Ocean Springs. But I think with Ocean Springs, with the amount of talent they lost with Chop, Solomon, Ian Harlan transferred to Biloxi. They lost a couple of defensive players. I really think that this is going to be they're going to be a young team. Burgess is a good quarterback. Laney Waltman is a good running back. So they'll have that nucleus. But I really think that it's going to be kind of a rebuild year for them, a reload year for them. But I would not be shocked if they upset some teams. But this is just my assessment of the team. And I could be wrong. Ocean Springs might reclaim that 2 spot, but I just don't see a scenario where they go to Gulfport and beat Gulfport at Gulfport with, you know, that that gauntlet of that gauntlet of talent that they have returning.
Yes,
People just
yeah.
don't
I
understand how
know.
people really don't realize how loaded Gulfport is. Like Coach Panic has really got them headed in the right direction. They're, in my opinion, the most loaded team on the coast in football, and it's gonna be on full display when they play Picayune. So I'm excited for the Admirals to see can they go back and repeat. But Gulfport is here, and everyone else is like kind of like in the pack. So
Yes, I agree with you as far as not going to necessarily be the second seed. Uh, Gulfport, has their new quarterback in there, and is it? It's not Wedgeworth. What's his? Well, I'm drawing a blank on where is the quarterback. Where's my? But some of the comment, like I say, Dublin, St. Martin will make the playoffs, is what they said. Robert Thompson,
hey,
they lost a lot of linemen. Harrison Central will make the playoffs with Coach Fortenberry.
yeah,
So we'll see how that plans out there. But I just shared the star cards, and I have shared Gulfport, and now I don't even see where he is at. But I'm going to get his name because I'm not happy that I cannot find his name. And I'm fixing to scan through
gotta get
here.
Marte
And
to. I gotta get him to kind of.
Wolverton. There he goes. There he
Yeah,
goes.
well, I thought it was
What Jackson
I saw it.
Wolverton.
I'm like, yeah, Jackson Wolverton.
So, but let me bring you my prediction.
Yeah, Jackson
And
Wolverton.
Gulfport, this is how it's going to be. Gulfport is going to win the region for the second time in a row. D'Iberville will come in second. Actually, D'Iberville, I wouldn't be surprised. The only reason D'Iberville will go to Gulfport in their new stadium. Gulfport has a new stadium this year. D'Iberville has a new multi-million renovated stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And so D'Iberville will go to Gulfport. Gulfport will win the region. Ocean Springs, does lose a lot of players there, but they have their quarterback with another year under his belt. Chalmers Berglund will be there. Biloxi, again, Ramsey, I thought they would have done better than what they did last year, or even maybe competing for a second seed, but they had to go to overtime with West Harrison. But they do have the players in place this year. I say a new head coach. He has a new title as head coach, Coach Collier, who was a defensive coordinator last year at Biloxi. And then and Ocean Springs will drop down to third, and Biloxi will make the playoffs at fourth. St. Martin, and I've said it at the media day, and I'll say it again, when they lost late to West Harrison in that game, and then they came back that next week on the road at Biloxi to beat them, that showed me a lot, with the players and the Coach Woody there, that St. Martin is taking that step in the next direction. And Sullivan, the young quarterback there, who's supposed to get most of the snaps from media day, he said, but you have Seth Crockett, of course, his twin brother wide receiver. You have other players that are on there for St. Martin. Could St. Martin make the playoffs? Yes, they could make the playoffs. Harrison Central with their new head coach, I don't think he has enough in the ingredients to make the playoffs. And West Harrison coach Quincy Patrick, they lost some key players. And this is a year that West Harrison will probably make the playoffs because they had all the players last year, the name players, Stapleton. And this year, not saying they don't have name players, but this is a year they'll probably make the playoffs, and we'll all be wrong. And I believe that Gulfport, like I said, with their new stadium, that they will make a back-to-back region title winners. Will D'Iberville would surprise me if they win the region? No. I believe D'Iberville has a great chance. Coach Ladner, 2 playoff runs in the playoffs last 2 years, looking for his playoff win. And they will go to Gulfport, so that's only bad sight right there.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
So, in one of the stats, being a stat man, because I had to go back and look, I wanted to look, with D'Iberville, I digress. Ocean Springs won the 4 previous region titles. Gulfport just won last year. Who won before that? Well, I go back to, in 2020, it was D'Iberville. 17, 18, and 19, Gulfport was on a run, and then not to make excuses, but COVID hit in 20, and
Yeah.
Gulfport hadn't been the same since 20. But they won 17, 18, 19 region titles, 3 straight. D'Iberville won in 16, Gulfport 15, Ocean Springs Gulfport 12. Is not named Gulfport, D'Iberville, or Ocean Springs to win the region title. 2011, Biloxi won the region title in 2011. Again, this year, any of those teams, but Gulfport is a little bit way above than the other teams. Like D'Iberville is right there. That's why I rank them like this. Ocean Springs is there. Could Biloxi beat Ocean Springs? Most definitely could be there. And St. Martin could be the shocker of them all. And Coach Woody has that team going, and the young quarterbacks, players they have there could certainly make a difference. And then just to go back even one more year, 2010, Petal won the region, which that's when they had the teams not from the coast in the region. But it is interesting, again, the last 15 years, Gulfport won 6, Ocean Springs won 5, D'Iberville won 3, and Biloxi won region title the last 15 years. So it's going to be exciting coming up. I know you have, again, Gulfport, Biloxi, D'Iberville, Ocean Springs, and you can see I have Gulfport, D'Iberville, Ocean Springs, Biloxi.
I just a little flip there. I can see D'Iberville. That's why I put D'Iberville, Biloxi at 2. Like I said, Gulfport is here.
Yes.
At the top. Everybody else kind of middle of a pack sandwich together. Dustin, y'all could. I could see a scenario where St. Martin might sneak him in there with his son at quarterback and receiver, the Sullivan twins.
Yeah.
So I can see a scenario where St. Martin might get you. You just never know. But to have Ocean Springs over Biloxi with the talent that they got, that's going to be a very interesting game. That's one game I'm going to have to highlight on that. I want to see that game because I know Ian would even transferring from Ocean Springs to Biloxi. That's going to be like a kind of a how you say it, revenge game. So
yes.
I think that's going to be one of the games that's really going to be interesting. And I think that's.
And they do play it. The Ocean Springs does play at Biloxi, and then they play at Gulfport the bye week, and help them. They'll host D'Iberville, and then a bye week, and then host West Harrison at Harrison Central, and then they'll finish up with St. Martin.
Yeah.
So Biloxi, as is okay. My computer's going.
Yeah, that's going. Somebody said D'Iberville is going to win the region. I'm like,
well, I wouldn't be shocked if D'Iberville won the region.
That'll be a game. I guess so many games that I got that I want to have circled on the coast. We can't be all at one. Dustin said Biloxi to be the 1 seed.
Well,
I'm telling you, Biloxi's got a really with Ian and Joe, and they got another receiver. I can't think of them. They really have a talented offense. They I'm telling you, people don't understand
Biloxi
the receiving core. How Ian added to that. And again, Ian's a good athlete. There's no one person that makes team, but that's a huge boost to their offense. So I really think Biloxi. That's why I got them at 2. I think their offense is going to help propel them. Now, defensively, I'm not sure where they are defensively, but Biloxi's going to put up a lot of points this season. Ramsey's going to go off this season. So,
listen to the coaches show, not that I have any of the inside information. Last year, the Biloxi coaches show, when Coach Dubose was there, that they were banged up like teams get banged up. But I believe even the quarterback was banged. They had the one guy playing both ways. I forget his name. He might have graduated, but he was a big factor there. But Biloxi didn't panic, and they got the job done against West Harrison to make the playoffs. Now, the playoffs is a different story for Biloxi. They've lost, I believe, 7 straight, and hopefully they can get into the playoffs. Can they win the region? Again, it wouldn't shock me. What would shock me would be West Harrison to win the region, would be Harrison Central to win the region, would be
that
a stat.
that would require a
That D'Iberville winning the region would not stat me and shock the world. It would not shock me if D'Iberville won the region. It would be it would be an upset, yes.
Yeah, it'd be upset.
Uh, Ocean Springs to win the region again. A stat man shock. Central West Harrison. Yes. So, to give Biloxi, they're, as mentioned, they're host Ocean Springs. They're at St. Martin. They get a bye week, and then they're at Harrison Central. They host Gulfport, a big game there, at West Harrison. Then they will host D'Iberville. That is Biloxi. So, that would be maybe for the 2-3 seed.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens to these other games. So again, we're here again in August, and we still got non-region games and a lot to go. But hey, we're going to say it with our chest, Titus, and see how it plays out. And I'm glad that you were not come and just saying yes, I agree. No, you've come with some good, and I can see where you're coming from. I definitely can see where you're coming from, and not just this region, but in the other regions.
Yeah, so with the other region, I'm going to just be brief because I know time is of the essence. So on the other side of the bracket in Region 3, 7A, I got Brandon, number 1, followed up with Oak Grove, 2, Pedal 3, and I got Northwest Rankin around it. I got Meridian. I got Meridian making the playoffs. Coach Vance is a championship head coach at Charleston. People call me crazy. I think Meridian is going to climb back into the playoffs again. I'll have the privilege to talk with Coach Vance on Wednesday about their program. Meridian's always had talent. Boyles had coached them up. That year they went in to beat Ocean Springs with Daniel Hill, who's also at Alabama. So I think Meridian is gonna take a huge leap forward. I know Northwest Rankin is gonna be pretty good with Deshaun Dillon. He's a 4-star receiver. Dude's a freak of nature. But I just really think that Meridian is gonna take the next step forward. So I got Brandon. I know Warrior Nation is going to get on me for that, but Slayton Shack, good quarterback. Tyson Robinson, who committed to Michigan. Tabari Washington, outside linebacker. They always have the pieces. And last year, Matt, they was playing with house money. Nobody expected them to do what they did last year under, Lance Pogue had took over, and the program kind of just went beneath expectations, and they got him out. But immediately they ran the table. I watched this same team go in against Oak Grove, where you don't beat Oak Grove at home. You don't go in Oak Grove's house on the playoffs and beat them, and you're down 11 with 7 minutes to go and come back and beat them in overtime. I'm like, that is a statement. So for Brandon to do what they did last year, and they got some key pieces coming back, I can't say.
Yeah. I watched that game in overtime.
Put over them, but I just can't. I know Oak Grove's loaded with Kellen Hall, Roman Causey. They got 4 Division I players, and Kellen Hall, who committed to Old Dominion. Devin Robinson, who's a Oklahoma commit. Josiah Barnes is yet to commit. He's a 3-star. And the 4th, DJ Dobson, also offensive tackle, who's committed to Georgia. So they have the pedigree to win on paper, but they got to go into Brandon and beat Brandon. And it's just hard. Just like with D'Iberville having to go to Gulfport, or Ocean Springs having to go to Gulfport and beat Gulfport at Gulfport. It's just too tall of a task with the talent they got.
Yes, so, it is. And especially, like I say, to add in their new stadium at their high school, that is Gulfport. So it definitely is, and look forward to, seeing how it plays out. Like I said, I'm going to post these region predictions starting tomorrow, and other players. There's a lot to unfold in this hour and a half that we've been on. Just to recap some of the stuff with 4A, we both agree that Pasquotank should win. We agree that Poplarville should win their region. We agree Stone should repeat as region titles. 6A, I have Picayune winning their 6th straight region, which would tie Stone for the most consecutive. But you do have Gaucher stepping up. winning the region title there. So that would be interesting to see there. And let me get some water.
And Coach Stogg is watching too, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna take that clip and
Yes.
he's gonna clip that.
Yes.
What's going on, Coach? The game's
So
coming into Picayune, man. October 30th, man. It was gonna be a game back like I was in 2022 for that's gonna be a district title game, but it's gonna go another way. It ain't gonna go like I did in overtime. You know, when Goshen had a 7-point lead with 3:50 left, and you know things happen. So hey, anything can happen. So I think
most definitely. So I do believe, like I said, Picayune will repeat, and then like I said, PRC.
Yeah, PRC
And I always say, Statman shocked the world. Meaning, again, if St. Martin won the region title, that would be a shock. If a PRC happened to go in there and beat Picayune again, as they did last year, that wouldn't necessarily be. It would be a mild upset for me. Yes, it would be a shock. If Goshen wins the region, I wouldn't put it as shock the world, but they had the players in place.
Yeah, to go 3-7 and then come all the way back and do that. But I'm just basing it off the experience that they had last year or the year before, but going to sophomore group, went to state and competed and lost, and then for them not to play on Thanksgiving and they want to come back. Those guys are hungry. They want more. They got embarrassed last year by their rivals, so they got revenge. They're gonna be on a revenge tour this year, and I can't wait to see how it all turn out. But hey, if Picayune wins it again, I would not be shocked because they got arguably one of the top running backs on the coast, who I felt like got snubbed, who's gonna get snubbed on the Danny Dozen, in my opinion. He's gonna get snubbed, but yes, that's for another topic when the Danny Dozen list comes out.
Well, we'll have the Coach Star cards that will come out. We don't have a Danny Dozen. We try to shine a light on all the players. I know that they do the Danny Dozen every year, and that's great. And everybody does their thing. And in coach football, we try to shine a light on players that may not get all the light. He does get the light. Mr. Chills, David Dennis with Picayune. So, and then in 7A, you know, we both agree Gulfport should repeat as the region champion. I have D'Iberville second, and you have Biloxi second. If Biloxi was there, I thought Biloxi was going to do better last year. I think injuries caught up with them. They did make the playoffs, but I thought they would compete more than just barely getting into the playoffs and beating West Harrison. So that was there last year. I believe, like I said, Biloxi has the players to make it, and they will host D'Iberville, not mistaken. That could be, you know, for the second team is, yes, they'll host D'Iberville on that November 5th. But I certainly appreciate it, Titus, as we wrap it up. An hour and a half been on here. For those watching on the live or watching on the replay, post comments. You know, we certainly had a lot of information to come out with here in this hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It was a huge success. I appreciate you for having me on. Looking forward to collaborating with you on Friday Night Lights when you do your recap. Hey, we'll link up again and we'll do it again and just give our initial reaction on
yes, most definitely. And the Dirty South Sports page, go to their page on Facebook. They have interviews, timeline, get all the interviews, and you do a great job there. Hearing from the coaches, that's what we like to hear, is from the coaches and players. So again, shine the light and keep on going. I appreciate you joining here, Titus. Do you have, besides the Dirty South, as far as like X or Instagram, you want to give out any names where they can find you?
You can find us on X and Instagram at Dirty South. Just type in the words Dirty South Sports, and you'll be able to find us on Instagram and X.
Okay. Well, I certainly appreciate it, Titus. And until next time, we will keep shining the light and put out more information. And I'll be looking for your page. And appreciate you joining us here tonight.
Hey, appreciate you being on, Matt. Keep doing what you're doing. We really appreciate everything that you do for Coast Football.
All right. Thank you, Titus.
Thank you.
All right. That was Titus from the Dirty South Sports page, and appreciate all the comments there as we just went over our region predictions. Great information that he provided. Again, trying to learn all these players who transferred. I didn't know about the player transferring from Ocean Springs. Would that make a difference with Biloxi? Yes, certainly will make a difference in Biloxi. And then he brought, the other teams that we normally don't cover because they're not part of Coast football, but they're still relevant in the playoff situation. So I appreciate Titus from Dirty South Sports here on the live. Again, I'll be posting tomorrow night a couple of these region predictions. They'll be posted over the next couple of days. The Coast Star cards will be coming out, new ones. And just because what we had predicted here today, that's what we predicted. Could St. Martin make the playoffs? They were right there last year. They have a very young team. They certainly could. Could West Harrison make the playoffs? Yes, they could. So nothing is written in stone. We do the talk. We predict. The games are played and won on the field. If you do want to be a sponsor, you can see in the backdrop region predictions. There's football over here. This is where your sponsorship could be seen by a lot of people. So DM me on that. Appreciate everybody joining us here on this Sunday night. We have just a couple more weeks to go. We have Jamboree games coming up on the 21st. And then, of course, Ocean Springs will host Meridian on that 27th, Thursday, the 27th, the only Coast team to start the 2026 season. And then all the other games will be on that Friday. Still have a lot to come. The Coast 25 rankings. We have a new way that we're ranking them. I'll have them out. I may do it a week early. They come out on Tuesday, the week before kickoff. I may come out next Tuesday. May do it live. Who knows? So, again, thank you. I am Matt Stats with Coast Football. You guys have a great week. Keep shining a light as we prepare for the 2026 season. Stats out.